Hi, my name is Dave Gagnon, and welcome to the Future of Real Estate. So first of all, a little bit about myself. When I was first contacted about eXp Realty, I was very happy in what I was doing. I was not looking for a move, and unfortunately, I was not open-minded. I almost blew it. About 6 months after saying no thank you to the first phone call, I agreed to just a 15-minute coffee conversation just so I could know what I was saying no to before I said no. So once I started listening to it, I found it very compelling, and I made the decision to move over very quickly after fully understanding it. So thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you come to the same conclusion that I did. There is no shortcut worth taking. I have folks ask me all the time, can I do a shorter presentation? And I just want to make sure that if you are making the decision to come to eXp, you understand all the details. And so you should watch the entire presentation, take your notes, ask follow-up questions, compare it to what you have, and if it is better for you in every way, then follow through. I'd like you to look at this from two perspectives. First, as an agent, it's got to be fantastic, right? I mean, don't make a move if it's just a little bit different. But if it's fantastic, if it's compelling, then you should not only make the move, but you should share the story with others that you know and like in your area. Number two, I'd like you to really understand the business opportunity. And so, if it is the best value proposition for agents, then, and if you want to be part of building a company, then I really want you to understand the business opportunity side of it also. And so I'm going to cover that in the presentation also. So first, eXp's vision is to have a global community designed, powered, and owned by our agents and partners that'll transform the real estate experience. What I'm going to cover today, a little bit on our history and what I call the four pillars of our business model, which is the technology model, the financial model, the equity model, and the revenue sharing model. I'll share a couple of success stories and then talk about joining the team. eXp started just in 2009, and in 2013 we became publicly traded. I think that was a huge milestone. In 2015 we launched agent ownership and the Icon Agent Program. I'm going to talk about that a lot today. We ended 2017 with over 6,000 agents. Just to give you an idea of the growth pattern, I got here in 2013 and there were 272 agents when we got here. And I got to tell you, it was a little scary coming over. Very new company, was not in my part of the country at all. I had never heard about it before. And they were open in 18 states. And in most of those states, there wasn't even two agents to rub together. Right? It was brand new everywhere. In 2014, I became the director of growth for the company. We grew to 485 people, 78% growth. The next year, another 78% growth. We hit 864. In 2016, we tripled in size, 2,401 agents and brokers when we ended that year. Is 178% growth. And in 2017, 171% growth, ended at 6,511. If we were just real conservative in 2018, 13,000, I think is absolute no-brainer. Here we are in the middle of February, and we just announced we went over 8,000. Rapid expansion. Now we are in 47 states. I know that says 46. We just opened in another state, and we continue to grow. I'm going to talk about the technology, but first I'm going to talk about making sure that people understand what technology or opportunity looks like. Blockbuster was the #1 home entertainment company by far. Netflix came up with this new technology, which would be streaming entertainment into people's homes through the vision was through their smart TVs, and there weren't even smart TVs at the time. And they went to Blockbuster and they said, hey, we'd like to sell this to you for $55 million and help you grow it. We think it's the future of home entertainment. And the CEO of Blockbuster said, no, we don't see it the same way. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And 6 short years later, Blockbuster was out of business, and Netflix is now arguably in almost every home through computers and now your cell phones, smart TVs, all of those type of things. One of the things I'll talk about for technology is our cloud office. We do more than 15 hours of live training each week in there, and that's on everything from orientation to teaching agents how to do more business or how to build a team, a wide array of topics. It might be, the basics of, developing your sphere to items that are, more advanced, like for sale by owners or expireds, maybe the luxury market, commercial market, all those kinds of things. This is a couple of screenshots of our cloud campus. Each department is in the cloud, and I think it's great. You go in on a Monday morning, and the team, let's say agent services, are in there. They're talking about the weekend, those kind of things, getting ready to start their day. And it reminds me of going into a regular business office where people are catching up on the weekends and their friends, and they're working side by side across the cubicles. But many of these staff members are hundreds or thousands of miles apart from each other, all working within the cloud office. This allows us to bring in our 8,000 agents and be able to train them from anywhere, and to be able to have top agents from all across the country sharing in a way like it's never been able to be done before, without getting on a plane and going to a central location and spending thousands of dollars to go to a mastermind. Now we can do it every week. When I was running my offices, what I noticed was about 75% of the agents never came into the office unless they were dropping off a file or picking up a check. 20% used the office once in a while to write an offer, and about 5% used the office on a daily basis. But the office was one of my largest expenditures on my budget. And so most agents, with all the technology that they have today, are not using an office, but they're paying for it through their splits, or if they're with a company that has a cap or set fees, they're paying for it that way. The reality of it is, any agent who's been doing business for an extended period of time has core and ancillary services that support them and their clients in their business, whether it be mortgage, title, property, and casualty. And the average agent has 10 or 12 type of these relationships, throughout the area that they do their business. All of them would like to meet their buyers and sellers. All of them have conference rooms that are dormant for the better part of the days. And so agents have a lot of opportunity to use professional space. If you're in an area that has Regus locations, we do have a national agreement with them. You can use the business lounge area for free. And if you do want private space, you can have that opportunity also. You just pay their fee on an hourly basis. We're going to talk about lead generation. This is part of technology too, right? So I like talking about conversion. I think it's very robust. If someone already has a conversion website or a Commissions Inc. website, Boomtown, those kind of things, they're paying between $500 and $1,500 a month for the base program. If they come over to eXp, they can use our conversion platform or our Commissions Inc. platform free of charge. It's part of our technology platform. And so if someone's paying $500 a month and now they come over, move their database in, they're saving $6,000 per year. If they understand internet marketing, they know their costs, their average cost per click, they know their conversion rates, and an extra $6,000 typically will generate an additional 10 transactions a year for most agents. Each agent also gets a customizable WordPress site. And they can change it any way that they want. We have classes and tools to teach them how to do that also. And we also have a program called Making It Rain. I'm going to feature that a little bit in the success stories later. I'm going to talk about our financial model. So first of all, we are agent centric. You can do as much agent branding as is allowable in your state. And different states have different restrictions or abilities there. But we want our agents to be as self-branded as is allowed in their locations. EXP is the brokerage behind the agent, and we don't make it all about us. It's all about you. I'm going to talk about how the money works. There's no desk fees, there's no royalty fees, no franchise fees. Everyone has the same deal here. The commission split is an 80-20 split. There's no royalty, so it's really 80-20. And there's a cap of $16,000. What that means is on the first $80,000 of gross commission, 20% of that is $16,000. After that, the agent is on the 100% split. And then we have a couple of transactional type fees. Once someone's on 100%, it's a transaction fee of $250 on their next 20 deals. On deal 21, after capping, it drops to $75 and stays there for the rest of the year. There is a broker review fee of $25, and there's E&O of $30 per transaction. That caps at $500, which would be 17 deals. If you're in California, Louisiana, Tennessee, New Mexico, Kentucky, or Canada, it does change a little bit. You can see it right there on the screen. To start, we're not selling a franchise. There's nothing to buy. There is a $99 startup fee. That includes your first month tech fee. Tech fee is $50 per month. And it also includes getting all of your technology set up, as well as 1,000 business cards to get you started. There is a university tuition fee once per year. It's $420, and that's taken out of your first closing, and that also triggers your stock bonus each year, and I'll talk about that when we get into the equity model. And so what would you do with an extra $5,000? For the average agent that I talk to, we're saving between $5,000 and $8,000 a year in some parts of the country, and some agents' production levels far more than that. And so when I talk with agents, one of the questions I want to find out is, what is your average cost of sale? And so for most agents, they're doing a lot of their business, or at least some of their business, through their sphere of influence, through repeat business and referrals, and the cost of sales for that is a little bit harder to track. But if agents are using something like Google AdWords or Facebook marketing or send out cards or something else where they are doing something to make leads come in, then there's a conversion ratio. If you're good at knowing your numbers, you'll know what your average cost for sale is. I've done this for since 2006, working with agents to figure out cost of sales. It averages out to be about $500 per sale if you're doing marketing to generate your sales. And so if we save someone, let's say $5,000, that would generate 10 more sales a year. If the average commission is, let's say, $5,000, that's an extra $50,000 of GCI. What would you do with an extra $50,000 of GCI? Would you generate more leads? Would you get debt-free, invest more, improve quality of life, vacations, those kind of things? It's really up to you, but I ask agents this all the time. Would you be better off in control of that $5,000 to $8,000, or is it better for you and your family to continue to give it to your broker? A couple of other things on the financial model. Domestic partners and spouses share a cap, right? So if you have a husband and wife or domestic partnership that are both productive in real estate, there's a single cap of $16,000. Team members, if you're running a team, whether it's a small team of 2 people or a large team, team members have a half cap. That would be $8,000. We also have a zero pain policy. So I talk to people all the time where they say, this makes a lot of sense, but I'm with this other company and I've already paid my cap and I'm at 100% until 3 months from now. Well, that's fine. You don't need to wait those 3 months to come over. You can grab a screenshot that shows us those details. We will honor that cap and that anniversary date. You would come over, start on our 100% model, and then go to 80-20 on that old anniversary date. and then start paying those fees here. The reality of it is, if you're a large producing agent and you're going to cap in a few months anyway, it's all the same money. It's just the timing of when you're going to pay it. We'll look into those details with you, help you make the right decision. Personal transactions, you get up to 3 personal transactions per year on the 100% plan, so you don't have to wait until you cap to buy an investment property, or to sell your home, or to help your mom or help your kids buy or sell a piece of property. The equity model, get what you deserve, ownership. I don't think that there's a brokerage worth anything without its agents. What do you think? Of course not. The effective worth of the brokerage is based upon the production of the agents and the reputation they have built over their careers. Why is it that agents do not have true ownership? And I know there's some companies that have profit share element or some other metric where they share part of the air quotes profits, but they don't have true equity. I was talking to Marcy a while ago, before she made the decision to come over, and she said that she felt like she was bought and sold her entire career. They would sell the brokerage, and the value was based on the agent's productivity, yet the agents never saw any share of the value that they brought to the buyer or seller of the brokerage. Right? Think about that. That happens all the time. And so we're changing that. We have 3 separate conversations to talk about equity here at eXp. The first one is we have stock awards. And so right now we have less than 12,000 agents. And so when you close your first transaction, you pay the university tuition fee, and we award 50 shares of stock. Once we go over 12,000 agents, that'll go to 35 shares. And when we go over 16,000 agents, that'll go to 25 shares. When you cap, meaning you've paid in the 16,000, there's another bonus of 100 shares. And should you attract another agent, broker, associate broker, qualified broker to the company, when they close their first transaction, they would be receiving 50 shares of stock, and you would receive 100 shares of stock as your bonus. We have a stock purchase program. Oh, let me just go back here. All of these awards have a 3-year vest, right? So you need to be here the 3 years to actually receive the stocks in your possession and to be able to sell them. The stock purchase program has no vesting. You own the stock. There's a 6-month hold on it because it's being issued out of the treasury stock. You can opt in or out of the stock purchase program. Quite frankly, I don't know anyone who's not in the stock purchase program. If you're in it, you invest 5% of your gross commission. And think about it, most agents currently are paying a royalty to someone else, right? I think about Remax typically 5%, Keller Williams typically 6%, Century 21 and those other type of brokers typically 7%. And so agents are used to that coming out anyway. Invest it in the company if you think it's worth it. If you do, you would be purchasing EXPI stock at a 20% discount, and that's based on the average trade price over the prior 30 trading days. So it's accrued all month long. At the end of the month, they do a look back, they do the average, and that's what you're purchasing the stock for, a 20% discount of that. We also have the Icon Agent stock bonus program. This is phenomenal. If you are an Icon agent by this definition, this will blow you away. This is huge. If you're not an Icon, I still want you to understand this program at a very high level because it'll help you attract iconic agents in your area. So an Icon for us has got to have 3 elements. Number one, they need to be a capper, meaning they've paid in $16,000 to EXP through their 80-20 split. They must close at least 20 deals after capping. Remember I told you that the cap transaction fee is $250. So 250 times 20 deals would be $5,000. And they must be willing to give back 1 hour per month in the cloud office. That 1 hour give back could be teaching a class if you have material that you love presenting. It could be serving on a panel, sharing your successes. And so what are you really good at? We'll pair you with another group of agents that are good at that too. And we'll ask questions and help bring out the best information that you have to share, or you could serve on a committee to help make the company better. For those agents that do that, they receive $16,000 of EXPI stock. $4,000 upon receiving the award, $4,000 worth of stock, and another $12,000 of stock after a 3-year vesting period. What I'd like you to do is go to Google, type in EXPI, and the stock will come up, and just go to the 5-year mode so you can see what the history of the stock has been, and go back and look at what it was trading at a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, and divide that number into $16,000. That would tell you how many shares of stock you would have bought at that time if you were an Icon agent with us back then, and then look at what it's trading at today, multiply those shares versus what it's trading at today, and that would tell you what that value would have been worth today. Now, stock goes up and stock goes down. I don't know what it's trading at today, but I do know that it's more equity than most agents have ever received for being with their current brokerage. Right? Just think about it. How long have you been in business? How much value have you brought to your current brokerage? And how much true equity do you really have? We know that if iconic agents make the move over, they give us more credibility, and that helps us attract other great agents. I'm going to talk about the revenue share model. The revenue share model pays through 7 lines. So for example, if I attract Fred to the company, he would be direct to me or 1 line away from me. So he would be on my level 1. I would receive 3.5% of the gross commission on every transaction that Fred does until he caps. And so if he just does 1 deal a year, 3.5% on that deal. If he caps, it would max out at $2,800 per year. Fred introduces Barney. So Barney is level 1 to Fred. Barney would be level 2 to me, and that would continue through 7 levels. Once we get to level 2, there's actually 2 bonuses. The leftmost one is a smaller one. We call that one the expansion share, and you would receive that on all the people in your organization through 7 levels. Then there's a bigger bonus on level 2. It's 3.8%, which would bring it to a total of a 4% bonus. And in order to receive the bigger bonus, I would continue to help grow the company. So if I only bring 1 person or 2 people, 3, 4 people, I am going to receive 3.5% on those direct people, and I'm going to receive 0.2% on anyone that they bring in direct, and all of that. If I want the big bonus, let's say I bring in Fred and he brings in 100 people, I would love to get a bigger bonus on those 100 people. And the company says they will give me a bigger bonus as long as I have at least 5 agents in my level 1. If I do, now I get 4%, so each of those people are worth $3,200 a piece if they're cappers. And that continues all the way through 7 levels. So I keep going wider, I keep unlocking additional bonuses underneath that. Sometimes people ask what that looks like, and I have a couple of quick examples here. And so let's say in this example I said, what if the average agent that I attract to the company does 15 deals per year? What if the average sales price is $250,000? And what if the average commission per side is 2.5%? And I know all of that changes by your area, but we can just do the math. And so what if I attracted just 1 person every 2 months, right? After 1 year, I'd have 6 people. And what if I helped each one of them just attract 1? So I attracted 6, who attracted 1 each. I'd have a team of 12 people. That would pay $36,000 a year. Think about it. What would $3,000 a month do for the average person? Whether it's more money to increase your business, get debt free, save for retirement, have better vacations, whatever it is, $3,000 a month is a huge difference. And this is passive income. You're not managing these agents, you're not supervising these agents, you're not responsible for them, just helping them understand the concept, helping them through the process of getting onboarded and occasionally pointing them in the right direction when they might need a little bit of help. I took the same example and I said, well, what if I attracted 5 and I helped them each average 5, right? That would be 25 people on my line 2 plus 5 on my line 1. This would be having a group of 30 people. That'd be almost 100,000 a year if they were all cappers. You say, well, you know, people don't do that kind of volume in my area. Well, great. Half cap would be half that, right? And so I think it's pretty cool stuff. And what if you were serious, right? What if you're the kind of person who is entrepreneurial, people know you, like you, trust you, and you can share this story with a lot of people? If you attract 10 and help them average 10 each, and I know it doesn't work that way, right, all the time, right? Someone might bring 0, but someone might bring 20. But 10 who get 10 on average is 348,000 a year. And I'm not going to run the numbers beyond that. It gets very big, which becomes unbelievable. But math is math. 1 plus 1 is 2, right? And it is what it is. I'm going to share a couple of quick success stories. Chris Lefebvre is in Mass, and he was part-time for 6 years prior to really getting into the tools that we have here. He was part-time not because he wasn't a great agent, but he couldn't generate enough income to be able to go full-time. He was making $100,000 as an engineer, and he really wanted to be full-time in real estate. Loves his family, wanted to spend more time with them, and he knew by being in real estate and being smart with his business, he could do that. And so when I first started talking with Chris, he got committed to the models and systems for lead generation and lead conversion, and he was able to go full-time. In his first year full-time, closed 26 deals. He was able to afford an assistant, able to add a buyer's agent, closed over 10 million in his second year, and he's been full-time ever since. I told you I'd talk about the Make It Rain program a little bit. Pat Keeler is a friend of mine, and he was in real estate for 30 years, right? All his business was friends and family and referrals and all that kind of stuff. He fell in love with the love of his life, moved to a new city about 30 miles to the south where he didn't know anybody. And, so now as a real estate agent, the one thing that he was doing to drive his business didn't work there. And so he was doing all the things that agents do to try to build their business, going to networking events and meeting people and all that kind of stuff. And so he decided to sign up for the Make It Rain program. And he started with $100 a month, which is the minimum investment into that. And he started to get some leads and started to close some business. And once he started making money again, he bumped it up to $250. So after his first year, he called me up, said, hey, bud, let's get some breakfast. And we went over his entire first year. So he had invested $2,800 into the Make It Rain program. His average cost per lead was $8. So that's a market that has less competition than some others. And that does vary around the country. The last number I heard was the average cost per lead was about $16. So anyway, ran through that. He ended up closing about $50,000 in gross commission directly from Make It Rain leads, and he closed an additional $53,000 in spin-off leads, right? Maybe someone didn't buy from him, but they referred someone else. Plus he earned capper status and got stock bonuses for it and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, now he's actually the state broker in one of our states, being part of leadership and all that good stuff. This works for broker owners too. Mitch, I got to meet Mitch summer of 2016. He had been running a brokerage for 12 years. He wanted to have more leverage. He wanted to focus on higher profit activities. And we spoke for, I don't know, maybe about 6 months before he finally made the decision to make the move over. He joined with 40 agents. And as of this recording, he has, I think, over 150 people in his revenue share group, and it's continuing to grow all over the country. And he's attracted several fantastic leaders to help him grow. Just because someone buys a franchise from another entity doesn't mean that this is not a good fit. right? We can't talk with someone when they're under their franchise contract, but as they're getting to the end of their contract, they can start looking at what their other options are. And that's what happened with Steve and Sally. They actually had the first RE/MAX franchise in Massachusetts. They were a broker owner for 28 years, and they wanted to have a real exit plan. And they wanted it to be as good for their agents as it was for them. They made the move over. They came over with, I think it was 20 agents, and now their group is growing, coming up to about 100 people, and they have some fantastic leaders now as part of their group, helping to expand not only across the United States, but now also Canada. Aaron was running a team of, I think it was 7 people, doing 31 million in sales, and he wanted to build something real for his family, right? Not just run a team, but to build a business. He saw that opportunity here, and he was looking for a system to grow his team to a larger region, which works great here. And he wanted to be able to create real wealth for his people and reduce expenses. He came over, so he came over with his initial team and attracted 26 people to EXP in his first 30 days. And as of this presentation, he's been here, I think, 4 months and has a total of 50 people in his overall organization. I had the opportunity to talk to Chuck about 2.5 years ago. Chuck was a team leader, running a luxury team, helping others, creating wealth. Now with us, he's an icon agent, and he's actually received more in stock appreciation than he's paid in total value in his cap. He's received more in revenue share than the total that he's paid in his cap, and he's received more in stock awards than he's paid total in his cap. My favorite quote from Chuck is, "It's a true no-brainer. Just do it." Right? So he's really building a business worth owning. I think 2.5 years in, I think today he's up over 250 people. Hank's one of my favorite guys. You know, he's a real estate coach, runs an independent coaching business. He actually came over here and had a non-compete, so he couldn't tell anybody where he was or what he was doing. So he was here for about a year and just kept to himself, kept quiet, all of those things. Last summer, he was able to say for the first time where he was and what he was doing, and he attracted 19 professional real estate agents across the country in his first 90 days. And in his first 5 months, he hit 100 people in his organization. There's really no pressure. Just answer questions when there's curiosity about the details. Thank you so much for watching the presentation. Do your homework. Talk to the person who invited you to watch this video. And I'd like to see you on the team. Let's grow.